Hi, my name is Eric Willison. I'm an attorney certified to practice in Ohio. It's important to note that anything I say here for informational purposes is only going to apply to the laws of the state of Ohio. Your laws, whatever state you're in, may not be the same, so you would be very unwise to rely upon anything I say in this video if you are not in the state of Ohio and looking at an Ohio issue. What we're going to be talking about today is how to anonymize an eviction that is on your record. There's a lot of places out there that you can go to who tell you that they will get an eviction off of your record. But what sort of record are they talking about? Usually they're talking about your credit record. So if you go to Experian or TransUnion or Equifax, there may be some eviction on there that shouldn't be for you. Well, you can get that off of your record via them by simply calling them up and disputing that is you, or that eviction should be on there. What I'm talking about goes a little bit deeper. I'm talking about going to the actual source of the information, which is the court's record. The clerk of courts for each court in Ohio will usually be online, and you can get onto that and you can type in someone's name into their search dialog boxes. You can come up with all of the cases that they've had before that court. So you might see some speeding tickets, you might see some cases here or there, maybe a criminal case or two for misdemeanor type cases, but you will also see evictions. The problem there is that all of the big credit unions scan those municipal court websites, and when they find an eviction on there that they don't have in their record, they put it on there. So by getting rid of something at TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, it might be kind of like mowing over the weeds in your lawn. You haven't really pulled them up by the root. So the important thing is pull them up by the root, and you will do that by going to the actual court itself and getting that eviction anonymized. Now there's two ways to get rid of the eviction. One would be to actually try to get in there and reopen the eviction and relitigate it and all that sort of stuff. That's a very costly process. It's one that probably would cost you more than it's worth, and usually because of the value that our system places upon finality of judgments, you're probably not going to get that result. But the better result, the easier result, is to anonymize the case. And you do that through Superintendent's Rule 45. Now that applies to all courts throughout the state of Ohio. And what it does basically is that it is going to take your eviction and it is going to use the initials of one of the two parties, that party being you. So what would happen is whenever you have a case, you have what's called I'm going to show you an example of this. And at the top of it, there's going to be what's called a case caption. And in the case caption, you have the type of the court, you're going to have the plaintiff, you're going to have the defendant. Now, with the defendant, what you want to do is you want to take the defendant's name and change the defendant's name to just the initials. So if it was Thomas Tennant, now it would be such and such apartment rental company versus TT. Now, when anybody goes to look up that on the court's website, what they're going to get is such and such apartment complex versus, and then when you type in the person's name, say Thomas Tennant, you might see some speeding tickets, you might see some other type cases, but you won't see the case that involved the eviction. Now, there's some reasons why you might want to do that. Perhaps the eviction was improvidently granted because you never knew about it. You'd already left and there was some sort of a mistake that the landlord made and filed an eviction against you even though you were gone, and it was put on the door. You never knew about it because you were gone. Sometimes you go in there and the landlord has filed an eviction and you win. If you win, the eviction is dismissed, but a landlord may still see it on your record and say, there's an eviction on this guy's record, I don't want him. And you can argue all you want till you're blue in the face, but I won, I beat that eviction. Some landlords are like, oh great, now I get a tenant who's smart enough to beat an eviction. Don't want him in there. So these are the things that you have to think about. Using Rule of Superintendents 45, you can argue to the judge that you want to have your eviction anonymized. Now it will be very, very difficult for them to pull up the eviction and to find it when they're looking for your name. If you want to have an attorney's assistance in this, then you can give me a call. My number is 614-580-4316, or you can email me at eewillison@earthlink.net or eric.willison@yahoo.com.